Well, a decision decades ago put a teenager in Fort Worth on a journey he could never have imagined. 3 degrees, a building named in his honor, and a permanent remembrance of the impact he made when he broke barriers at TCU. Well, tonight, NBC5's Deborah Ferguson shares the story of James Cash.
We are walking up to a statue of very young and much slimmer than today, James Cash.
54 is your number.
That was my number.
James Cash and his signature hook shot are immortalized in a statue in front of the TCU basketball arena. Generations will come to ask, who is James Cash?
We could always start with the fact that I was born here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Cash grew up in the middle of the civil rights movement, and in 1965 he was making history. He was the first black student athlete at TCU and the first black basketball player in the Southwest Conference. The two most influential people in his life at the time, his mother and his high school basketball coach, believed he had what it took physically, mentally, emotionally to break barriers. By then, he'd already witnessed change. His mother, once denied an education at TCU, got her degree after several professors left campus to teach her and some other women.
Having seen that evolution in my lifetime, and then seeing her get her degree literally before I stepped on campus in 1965, just made it a lot easier to commit to an institution, as I learned that had been way ahead of the time, was bucking the social norms.
Cash faced his own challenges with racism on the road for games in Arkansas and Alabama, and in an advisor who initially did not believe he was capable of pursuing a math major.
But as he watched me perform over the course of my first semester here, he became the biggest advocate I had during my entire 4 years. And to this day, the one thing I regret is that I didn't get to go back and tell him literally once a month what he meant to me in terms of things I faced later in life, where I said, okay, I just heard something that really offends me, but I'm going to wait and see if in fact this is a result of lack of exposure. Is this real bias? What is it? And 9 times out of 10, Deborah, it's lack of exposure.
Cash was exposed to questions, conversations, different points of view that were fundamental to who he became. After his time at TCU, he earned master's and doctorate degrees at Purdue. He joined the Harvard Business School faculty in 1976. In 1985, he became the first black faculty member there to receive tenure. The school named a building after him, the Cash House, to celebrate and honor his contributions.
And I was so thrilled to be able to tell everybody in that room, without TCU, there would not be a James Cash at Harvard Business School.
TCU retired his jersey, number 54, to the Raptors, and in 2022 unveiled his bronze statue. He's sat on big-name corporate boards and is part owner of the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
He even carries a championship ring on game days for luck.
With me when I know I'm going to go to a Celtics game, I will confess I am superstitious.
Cash's journey took him from hardwood to Harvard, with so many stops in between and more still to go. It all pivots on the 4 years he spent at TCU and the environment that made everything possible. It's something he wishes others could find today.
There are a lot of places, unfortunately, that young people seem to be able to go today to have that kind of interaction and growth, emotional growth, as well as just pure knowledge development.
You take opportunities and you turn them into what you want them to be.
He also believes kids need to see success to have the ability to aspire.
All of the signals that they are getting, that they are inferior because of the color of their skin, or they are inferior because of where they live, or they are inferior because of their economic status. All those things can be overcome when they can see examples that say so clearly that is not the case.
And Cash is that example, a story of family, faith, perseverance, a belief he could make a difference, and a place that empowered him to take risks.
I certainly appreciate the recognition, and more importantly, just the blessing I had to end up being a part of this amazing institution.
Deborah Ferguson, NBC5, Fort Worth.
Awesome story there.
Yeah, and loved his purple shirt, the TCU purple, right?
For sure.